Hey guys, back in the studio again, here to show you every single step. So we took our 16 by 20 inch dry white canvas and we stuck it up here on the easel. Now we're going to cover it in Bob Ross liquid white. If you don't have Bob Ross liquid white, get it. You really need it. It really helps. It makes everything so much easier to do. So let's shake it up. And what I like to do is grab one of our brushes right into the top of the lid, right? It's usually just about enough, depending on the size of your canvas. So let's stretch it out, right? As soon as you put it up there, start stretching it. You don't want to leave it in one place. You have to move it and get it nice and thin across the entire canvas. All the way everywhere. So while I'm doing this, and I understand if you've already done this part, you can skip forward, totally fine. But for the people that don't know or that have never done it before, we like to show you every single step on the tutorials. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I can't wait to see your version of this painting. So let's see a little bit more of our liquid white, and then we'll be all ready to go with all of our colors. So I figure we're going to do why am I telling you? You've already seen the thumbnail. You've already seen it, right? I'm literally about to make it up right here as we go. Don't know what it is. Maybe like a blue mountain. That's what I'm thinking. Blue mountain scene, maybe a tree or two. Who knows what'll happen by the time we get there. So, like I said, you guys have already seen it. I'm about to make it up as we go. Now, covered the entire canvas in our Bob Ross liquid white, and it's all over evenly everywhere, right? And that way, it's the same thickness as it is down here as it is up here. And watch, you can test it, right? Touch it. There's a little bit of liquid white there, a little bit there. Maybe we'll come over here, a little bit, same. Over there, same, right? Got all the same bits, all very evenly spread out. And then we'll go back and forth across the whole thing, just like this, and we'll be ready to go. Let's wash this brush off and we'll get ready to paint. So, and turn on the TikTok camera. Now we're a minute late after showing you guys what to do. Gonna always finish the sides, so we have to prep the sides with the liquid white as well. Even on these little small canvases, prep the sides. Even if you're gonna put it in a frame, prep the sides. Prep the sides, it's easy. Only takes you like 2 seconds. All right, now let's come in here. I think that might have been the first time we ever used that brush. Now, let's get the other camera turned on and we'll be ready to go. Right on. Let's hit the button over here. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. Pretty sure we have enough color. We probably don't, but it's fine. It's fine, guys. What's happening, everybody? All right. Pop, 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 pop. I need a new brush. Look at how shabby this brush is. It's just a horrible shape. Beating it to death, right? So, for everybody just joining on TikTok, I'm also simultaneously filming a tutorial for everybody that's watching over on YouTube next week, right? We have to do these things a week beforehand and then release them next week. So, as of the people watching on YouTube, it's Wednesday, and for all of us, it's last Thursday. So, we're all having a good time. Everybody tell us where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? We're going to come in with our 2 blue colors on the brush, right? Our Prussian blue and our Phthalo blue. We're going to start to drop both these guys in. Now, prior to turning on the TikTok camera, I put Bob Ross liquid white on the canvas. See that little bit of white on there? Very, very, very thin. And that allows all of these colors to blend and move and do all these little things all on their own. We don't even have to do anything. The brush does it all for us. It's magical. So we're going to finish all the sides just like that. The same amount of blue. We're going to do this really cold blue wintry mountain scene. It's going to be fantastic, you guys. So just like that, going to finish the edges. Don't worry about what gets on the front. Totally fine. Now we're going to come over here. And let's get a little bit of our black as well, that Bob Ross Midnight Black. It's like it's almost like a very, very, very deep, dark purpley color. It's not all the way black. Take some of that over here, some over here, and a little bit more even. There we go. See, you get that extra darker color in there, just like that. Now, tell me where you're watching from, guys. What's your favorite sandwich? And we're gonna very lightly just start to pull on this paint, right? How far do you want it to grow? That all depends on our pressure, right? How much are you pulling on it? How far are you stretching it? All depends on the pressure. Let's go back to our blue. We'll start coming in from down here. Just drop in a little bit. Who cares? Any little which where. Now remember, guys, if you're brand new to the show, I sell these paintings live during the show. That's how I make my living. That's literally how I provide for my family. So if you want to buy this painting, go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and search for number 911. And number 911 is this gorgeous blue, cold, freezing blue painting that we're going to do today. There we go, a little bit of our black over the top of the blue, just pulling it in from the sides. And then very lightly, you can go across the whole thing, and it'll drag just the smallest bit over that white section. We're going to try to keep a little bit of that white glare somewhere throughout the whole painting. Now, there's way too much paint on the brush. We always talk about the 3 P's of Paint with Josh. The first P being the amount of paint that's on the brush or the amount of paint on the canvas. The second P, right, is our pressure. Thank you for the roses. I love you. And then the third P is what, guys? What's that third P of Paint with Josh? Does anybody know? Do I go wash all the blue off of this brush? What's that last P of Paint with Josh? That's the question. And we've got lots to talk about today, so I don't want to hear the bull crap, you know, paint more, talk less. I got a lot to talk about today. Lots and lots to talk about. So, if you don't want to hear me talk, bye. There's millions of other people to watch on TikTok. See you later. See you later, homie. Good night and goodbye from Las Vegas. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is, I forgot. I forget what we're supposed to talk about. No. So we have the brand new merch showed up, guys. Brand new. And let me just double, triple check that I don't have any paint on my hands when I grab these new merch items. Look at these gorgeous things. We're giving away a free hat. One of these hats, right? We got them in blue. We got them in all white. We got them in black and yellow, of course. We got them in black and purple, guys. And black and red are the ones that have shown up so far. So, if you want to win a free Paint with Josh hat, well, if you want to win a hat, right, for free, I'll tell you how to do that if you stick around. If you buy this painting, you get 5 entries into winning that hat just for buying the painting, right? But if you want to win it for free, I totally understand. And you guys got to tell me whether or not you want to hear how to win it for free. If you want to hear how to win one for free, let me know and I'll tell you. If not, then we'll just get back to painting. And in the meantime, I've cleaned off my brush. We're going to come back in here into our lightest area and just start to crisscross back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Very lightly, right? All dependent on our pressure. We get to decide what it looks like. Who doesn't want free, right? I feel you. I feel you. So you guys want me to tell you how to get one for free? Again, any one of these Paint with Josh hats. Plus we have all green and all red showing up. So plus an all black one and a black and gray one. I've got tons more coming. So you can win a free Paint with Josh hat. It's just like that in multiple color options. If you go over to my Facebook page, right? You have 1 day left because the drawing is tomorrow night. So go over to my Facebook page and there's a pinned post right at the top of the page. Got all the merchandise, has all my bags, all of my stuff. This is probably the first thing you're going to see when you come to my page, that big old duffel bag, right? So go to that post, share it, right? Screenshot that you shared it, go back to the post, post your picture in the comments, and then that will guarantee you an entry into the drawing on Friday night. Then you got to come back here. You got to watch the show Friday night. And then when we do the drawing, you got to be present to win. It's no fun if somebody draws out the hat and they're not here watching. That's no fun. So, got to be present to win on Friday. It doesn't cost you anything, but if you do want to buy the painting, you do get extra entries, so that'll give you a better shot at winning the hat. Now, we already have, oh no, I left the list downstairs. I've got 3 pages I printed out. 3 pages full of names that are people that have already done it. So, plus, there's one more to add that I didn't get to yet on Facebook. Once I respond to you, that means that your name has now been attached to that list. So if I haven't responded to you yet on Facebook, you're not entered yet. But I will get to everybody. Hey, got the TikTok hat. I'll get to everybody before we do the thing tomorrow night. And I'll respond and get everybody on the list. And I'm going to cut out all the names, put them inside one of the brand new hats, draw it out, and then you get to choose whichever one you want. So, again, if you go follow me on Facebook, you got to be following me. So I've got 550,000 followers, something like that, right? Something crazy. So go follow me over on Facebook. Share that very first pinned post at the top, right? All the merchandise. It says giveaway announcement. Share that post. And then go take a screenshot of it. Go back to the original post. Drop it in the comments. And then I'll know you screenshotted it, right? That's your proof. Know you shared it. And then you'll be entered to win a free hat, no purchase necessary. So, let's come in here. Now, all we've done so far is taken our Bob Ross liquid white all over the canvas, right? And then we took our blues and our black color, and we mixed them all over the place, and we left a little area a little bit lighter than everything else, right? So we left our little bright area in the sky, a little bright area down in our water or snow, or whatever it is down there. We decide what it is by the time we get down there. Now we're gonna come in and throw some gorgeous little clouds in, you guys. So tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? That looks pretty right there. That looks pretty. So I don't sell the paint kits, but my affiliate, Meaden, they sponsor me. Meaden sponsors me, and they sent me a paint kit that looks just like this, actually. So I don't have the box up here, but the paint kit that they send doesn't have a Paint with Josh sticker, so don't hope yours is getting a sticker, right? But it's a briefcase easel. It's got a handle on it, and then it opens up. And now this kit is in my bio. If you go into the link in my bio, you'll see all the stuff that comes in the kit, all the paints, comes with the easel, and then it even comes with canvases and canvas panels and all sorts of extra stuff. So that's the link in my bio if you want to get a paint kit. Otherwise, I'm using the Bob Ross kit, the Bob Ross set for this painting. Actually, let's bring in some Meaden paints for this painting, because I love this Meaden black. All right, so this is my Meaden palette. Use the Bob Ross paints on the other palette. So this black, it's been sitting out here for a couple days, but once you break the skin, you can see it's very wet. Right? It's much more wetter than the Bob Ross paints are. They're much thicker. Look at that, immediately how much darker it gets, right? So you don't need a whole lot. It'll go a long way. Look, we can even cover the stuff on the bottom where we want. Bang, right? Using the first initial thing, which didn't happen with our Bob Ross paints. We had to go in 3-4 times to get as much darkness that we wanted from the Bob Ross set. So the Meaden set, a little bit wetter, right? It'll travel a little bit further when it's on the canvas. And you need less to go more, you know what I mean? Less is more. So the less you use, the more it'll travel for you. Just like that. You can literally put it 5 different places off one little piece that we picked up off the palette, right? Just like that. Coming in here. Over there. Remember, guys, if you want to get this painting, go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and search for number 911. This is number 911. It's $174.60, I think. $174 for the 16 by 20 inch. I think I'm going to start doing that price specifically for this size. $174. That's on sale from $295. So it's 40% off its normal price of $295, brings it down to $174. And that's what we'll do for this size painting. Now we're going to take this darkness, we're going to start to stretch it and pull it and move it and blend it and back and forth. And all dependent on our pressure, we get to decide how far it goes, how dark it stays, right? The more that you mix in with it, the lighter it'll become because it's mixing with all these other colors, right? So how far do you want it to grow down? You want it to cover our little space, our little bright area right there? Or do you want to leave it? Up to you. Totally up to you. Blend it in. Bingo, bango, back and forth. A little bit of blending on these guys. We're going to be pulling on the bottom so many times. It's not even going to make a difference what we do down there. So don't worry about it too much. And then let's go shake this guy off. Just like that. Beat the devil out of that old brush. Now, that's a cool looking painting. Let's go add some little bit of clouds in there and we'll start to accentuate those bits of brightness in the sky, all the darkness in the sky, right? We're gonna grab up our filbert brush. I think this is a Bob Ross, this is the one Bram sent me. Bob Ross number 6 fan brush. But if you can see the size of it, right? It's huge. Number 6 in a Bob Ross is a number 14 in a GAC Doctor. You know what I mean? The GAC Doctor is even smaller. So you never go off of the size of the brush. It's whatever works best for you. Right, and I like to use this Bob Ross one because Bram sent it to me and it gives me a chance to talk about Bram and how Bram's doing. Last time I heard he got back from Alaska. He had a whole bunch of fun. It was fantastic. Right, we're going to come in here with our white all mushed all over the brush and then up into that lighter area, sort of accentuate some of that brightness. Just around it, saving some of that original light that we put on the canvas. See how we come across the dark like that? Smushing it, mushing it, everywhere. Doesn't matter. Doesn't much matter about nothing. The shape doesn't matter. The amount of paint doesn't matter because all it does is we're going to take it and we're going to start to blend it. And as we blend it, just with the corner of the brush, right? Not trying to use the whole brush. Just a little corner out there. You come across and you just off of your eyeballs and you go, okay, I think I want it to be a little bit darker over here. So we'll just mix it a little bit more until it starts to darken down. Or I want it to be a little bit lighter over here. And so we mix it over here. or maybe a little bit dark. Maybe we bring in grab up some of that darkness from the top of the canvas in there, start popping in little bits of dark in here, and then go in and mix them up. What does it look like now? Did it change it? Ooh, I did a little shadowing, little different thing here, right? Go back, pick up some more. Drop it in there again. Mix it up again, right? Back and forth. You decide what you want your little clouds to look like. Swipe them to the side. You can swipe them from the top to the bottom. I love saying that because I'm dyslexic and it irritates people. They go, you did it from the bottom to the top. And I go, yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing. I'm just dyslexic. It's fine. There we go. Wash our brush off just like that. Popping it out. I can't see my screen over here with this pole. There we go. So you guys can tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? See if we can get, I don't know. We did this thing on TikTok where it was like, but I'm filming a tutorial right now, so we're not going to do that today, but it was like every 10,000 taps we would start talking or stop talking. But not today. We got to film a tutorial. So we're going to come back into the white one more time, and we're going to come at a different angle from this one. This one went down like this. So let's take this guy and go, we'll make a crisscross, right? Come back up in here. Very bright, though, where it crosses the white. You want it to be brighter than this brightness, right? Up into there. Maybe we drop a little bit back in here, right? Because it's going to blend down. It's going to go that way. Take some of this paint. Even grab a little bit more and pop it up into the dark section. It helps add the depth, right? All it is just a big giant mess up there. We're not doing anything fancy. We're not making any specific shape, right? Because there's no specific shape for a cloud. There's none. It doesn't matter if it looks like a wisp, or if it's flat, or if it's super thick cloud, or if it's dark, or if it's bright. There is no specific shape for a cloud. It could be anything. Go out and look in the sky. There's literally tons of different colors, different shapes, different amounts of brightness, different dark areas, shadowy clouds, super bright white clouds, all sorts of clouds. Like literally, go outside and look. It's a lot of fun when you go out there and check it out, right? All depends on how hard we push it. Depends on how bright it stays, right? You want that to be very bright like that? Leave it. You want it to be a little bit darker? Mix it up a little bit more. Blend it in a little bit with the bluer sky, and then we can decide maybe we want our bottom of our clouds to be off like that, right? Very cool. Now, everybody knows that when Paint with Josh does a very cool sky that he really likes a lot, I'll go and I'll add Karen to it. And Karen is my ex-wife London's mother, or my ex-mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law, you can say. She was taken away from us very, very suddenly and way too soon. And so every time that I do a very cool sky that I like to add her to it in the form of this contrail. And so put a little bit of the white out on your brush and just very lightly stretch it out, just like that. And then if you nicked your little cloud or whatever, you can just come back and just mix it up, have it look like it's gonna pop right out of there. Very cool. Very cool. That's Karen. Karen was not one of these Karens of today, right? She would have been very bummed out by the state of Karens. And after she passed, it was like the Karen name just went downhill. So I'm kind of glad that, you know, she didn't have to go through that anyway. She would have been very upset. She never turned away. She didn't, you know, if the meal was incorrect, I don't want to make a fuss. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, she was very much the sweetest lady ever. And the whole Karen name just ran her good name through the dirt. So in any case, we like to add Karen to the paintings every so often. Now, let's come in and we're going to make up a dark color in order to create our mountainous, gigantic shape. Now, which three dark colors does Paint with Josh like to use often in order to create his dark, mountainous color, right? I use three colors, same three colors all the time. And although I want some texture in this painting, I don't want the skin in there. There we go. So which of those three colors is going to get you a shout out if you know the colors as we mix them up right here and smush them out? What do you guys got? What do you got? What do you got? And your girlfriend cried when I gave her the painting and told her about the shooting star. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet, Adam. That's really cool. All right, we're going to pin Loretta's comment because she knows crimson, blue, and black. That's really neat. So, Adam, I sent out your painting. I told you in our message that I sent it out yesterday. That was incorrect. I printed the label out yesterday and stuck it in the car, and then I shipped it out today. And as I was shipping it out, I was like, oh, I told him I shipped it out yesterday. But in any case, it's on the way to you. I dropped it off at the UPS store today. So, we're going to take our paint just like that. We're going to scrape it up like this. And we're going to decide where you want your mountain to be. How big do you want it? How far away? Right? Just come in here like this. Oh, just start dropping. You see how the the shape of the angle of my knife, it's pushed against the canvas. I'm literally smushing it, right? I'm mushing it on as hard as I can. There's even a big ridge right here where we can pick up all that extra paint, come back up, change the shape of our mountain. Boom, bring it down like that, right? Who cares? Make it this crazy thing. It's not a perfect shape. It's not a pyramid up there, right? I did the pyramids the other day. We're not painting pyramids today. We're painting crazy old jaggedy mountains. And so all you got to do is make it weird. And all we're really worried about is what the top line looks like. So you want it to be nice and dark, right? Nice and thick, just like that. Pushing a little bit of those clouds back, saving a bit of the difference in color in the clouds all over the place. And it doesn't even have to be a peak, but you can make it a little peak if you want. You can give it a little peeker, right? All depends. Now, we're gonna take our paint, smush it as hard as we can, scraping it up, smushing it down. Watch me change the angle, right? Come up here to scrape like this, to smush. See the difference? Scraping, scraping, scraping. You're pulling away all the paint. Look at how thick that got right there, right? Versus mushing, which is keeping all that paint on there and just spreading it out a little bit more, right? Totally up to you what you want yours to look like. And then we're gonna pull it down in a certain way and you can start to shape your mountains and do all sorts of stuff. So let's grab a 1-inch brush. Out here like this, a little bit of 1-inch brush. Now we've got our first P of Paint with Josh, the amount of paint that we put up onto the canvas, right? Now our second P is the amount of what? How hard, what's that word? How hard are we pushing that's allowing us to decide how far we want our little mountain to grow? What's that word that we like to use? Our second P. Pressure. Paints by J Studios. Getting pinned right there. Everybody go follow Paints by J Studios. So, with the amount of pressure, we get to decide what we want that piece of skin off of there. There we go. What we want our mountain to look like, right? You want to have a little valley down in between both these guys? Well, push on a little harder. Judge. Maybe we pull down this way. Right? All depends. Maybe with a little bit more darkness right there, we can imagine there's a little ridge as it comes across, right? All up to us. See that little ridge that's starting to form in there? Now, you don't have to pull on every piece of paint. You don't have to go all the way up to the top. If we come down here, we start chucking this guy down here like that. And of course, if we're going to go one way, we got to go the other way. So pull him off to the side. Give him a little bit of a dark side, a little shadowy side off in the distance, right? Very cool. Nothing too crazy. And then we can add more mountains. You can do all sorts of differences. You can literally take it if you wanted to, mix it up, and not even add any highlights to it. You can do whatever you want to do. Right? A little bit of mixing, all of a sudden you got a little floating cloud out there in the distance, right? So in order to make up a highlighty, shadowy, little snowy bit, we're going to take a bit of white, we're going to take a bit of our blue color, just a little teeniest little bit, because watch, it's so powerful, it'll overtake this white pile so fast. Instantly turns blue, just like that. Go down, scrape it up. Now, it's too bright blue to be a shadow, so you have to take some of your original dark purpley color and mix that in there as well. And that goes like a kind of a bluish gray. It's very cool. You take some of that and you scrape it up and you come off the back side of your little cliff, and with very light pressure, that same angle of the knife almost touching the canvas down here, right? We're sliding it. We're very lightly grazing. What do we want our little mountainy, snowy thing to look like? How far do you want it to go down, right? What if we had a bit back in here in our little valley area? We're rocketing back that way, right? Then we can have something else come from the front. Maybe there was a little bit of snow or shadow back in there. How far do you want it to grow? All up to you, right? And then in our negative space, you can already see what's going to come in is our light side off the other bit, right? So in order to make up our snowy section, we need to get a little more white paint than we did the first time, and then just a scrape of the little bit of blue that we had created. Not the deep blue, not the pure blue, but the little blue that we had created. Right, and that'll make a very, very, very bright blue, snowy color, right? Even maybe a little bit more. There we go. Doesn't have to be as blue. Obviously, you don't want it to be the same color blue as our shadows. It won't stand out. It's got to be a little bit brighter, but we don't need the pure bright white. So we'll scrape that bit up, right? Then we come up here, very light pressure, and just graze it. Whatever comes off, comes off. Super easy, right? You don't have to push hard, very lightly, and do it fast, long strokes, till you run out of paint. And we come down in here, back into that little valley. We leave a little dark section though. You don't want to cover up every single bit, so leave that unpainted bit of the mountain back in there. Maybe this guy comes sliding down, right? Very light pressure, all dependent on how hard we're pushing it, how bright we want it to be. We didn't make up enough, by the way. I never make up enough color. Very lightly, right? All depends on what you want to do. So let's go get some more white. Teeniest bit of little blue back there. Sort of recreate that same little color. Scrape it up, grab it up, come up in here. Now, I like to come over my shadow sometimes, right? That way it's not a perfect straight line. If you can come up there and have a few little jaggedy areas, little Mick Jaggerty areas, like we like to call them around here. Don't ask why, mostly because I'm crazy. I think I huff too much paint thinner, honestly. There we go. Scrape it up, pull it down very lightly. Get your very cool little mountain to come out in no time at all. Just no time at all, right? We're going to come over here and very lightly, you're going to start to swipe. And as we swipe up towards our bit at the top, it starts to soften it. See the difference between the two? One kind of looks a little further away, just a little bit softer off in the distance. And it takes a lot of our third P, guys, in order to go up with this amount of pressure, right? We're using a very, 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 very light amount of pressure, barely even touching the canvas with the paintbrush, right? Barely, barely. You don't even have to go all the way to the top. I don't recommend that you do. If you're a beginner, I really don't recommend that you come and do this part at the top, especially if you are gonna push too hard and smush your snow and all this stuff. If you don't have enough practice at it, right, you don't have to do it. It doesn't have to be done all the time. Now, let's come back in and let's add a little bit of depth to this painting using the same colors, right? Blue, black, and crimson, and white. Just 4 colors for this painting. We don't need anything else. Maybe we'll use some brown over, maybe if we get to some tree trunks or something, right? But in here, into those areas where we don't have any paint, right? We don't have that thick white. We didn't really do anything. We didn't even really make any mist, right? We're just gonna add a little bit of stuff back in here. Just a little tuft of trees way off back there. Maybe we got one little guy over here. Go up a little bit higher. I don't wanna make them connect. I'm just gonna have a couple little bits that are kind of floating, kind of sticking out there, right? Now, taking our 2-inch brush, we're gonna very lightly go up to the top. Get that dang skin. I get one more piece of skin in this painting, I'm gonna be so mad. There we go. That's texture right there, right? Very lightly smushing it. And all we're doing is kind of flattening down the color that the brush left, right? Filling in all those little spaces. Then we're gonna come back in here and just start to tap. Little taps, right? And all we're doing is gonna make a bunch of fog and just leave a couple of the tree tops intact, right? And that way there's a little bit of misty action at the bottom. You don't know what's happening with these guys. You can pull it down a little bit to accentuate that they do go down. We just can't really see what's going on in there, right? Just like that. Boom. Now, same thing over here. We're gonna start to smash on it. Just using the tip corner of the brush, right? Just little things tapping down. I don't know why you guys watch me, I swear. I swear, I have no idea why anybody watches my channel. But I love you. I love every single one of you. So, I'm gonna come over there like that, very lightly, right? Just making a little bit of a mess. Little mist off in the distance, little here, little there. All it does is separate our mountain, maybe from the next mountain that we decide to do. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to paint with this amount of black. There's so much hard skin right here. Oh, here we go. We're just gonna get rid of this whole pile. Sorry, guys. I normally would do this off camera, but my goodness, look at that. That's what happens when you leave your paint for too long. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. You see what they did there? Don't do that, guys. Take a little bit of our darker color back up into here, just the smallest little bit, because we always forget something. Add a little bit of the deep darkness, and that'll be those shadows that just can't get, it's just not gonna get reached by the sun, or it's a rock that's too sharp to get covered up, right? Just like that. Now I wanna take a little of my highlight paint over here, just go off to the side, just a touch, because we don't want it to be this perfect thing. And then, there we go. Right? Kind of hard not to come down and touch our bits of our trees again, since we've already done that section, right? And again, very, very, very lightly. Woo! So light. Okay, now, let's come back up. We're gonna mix up a couple more colors. Can you guys tell me what 3 colors PaintWithJosh likes to use in order to make up the most gigantic mountain you've ever seen? Which 3 colors are we gonna mix up here? Does anybody out there in internet land know which colors we're talking about? 3 colors right here on my palette. I use the same ones every single time in order to create a very, very, very deep, dark, shadowy color and a whole nother chunk of skin in there. Man, I need to go through these paints and really, really tidy up here, guys. You're supposed to be a professional, Josh. Now, who knows those 3 colors? Let's see. Let's see. Crimson, black, and blue, Nasak, Coac, or Knapsack. There you go. Pin your comment. Bingo, bango. You know. Crimson, black, and blue. That's a dark mixture. It'll make a very deep, dark purple. Same thing we did with our mountains back here. But let's say there's another little section of mountainous rock. I don't know. It lives up inside here. Just right up, almost up into our trees, right? Taking that bit of darkness. Maybe it flows down that way. Maybe it comes over here. Maybe it goes back there and hides those little bits. Maybe it starts to flatten out, right? So we start pushing on it and dragging it. Scraping some up, pulling it down, pushing it over here. Maybe we got this whole side that was like sliding down off that way. You never know what's going to happen, right? A little bit darker. And with that separation, right? When we're talking about doing our seascapes and black canvas and stuff, we always talk about a dark separator. Well, there's light separators in this guy here, right? There's a little light color in between. Well, I mean, there's a bit of color in between this color and that color. There's a bit of kind of misty lightness in between that color and this color. Same thing over here, right? So it's almost the opposite as our dark separator. We have our light separator, especially when we're only using 4 colors. Now, with the 3 P's of Paint with Josh, remember, the amount of paint that we put on the brush is number 1. Number 2, the amount of pressure. How far do you want it to grow off of your canvas, right? How far do you want your mountain to come down this way? All depends on the direction that you're pulling it and the pressure that we're using, right? How hard, how much pressure are we sliding this sucker down? All up to us. Maybe this guy came down that way. Maybe he slid back in front. So you crisscross those little bits right there. And then take this guy off to the side. All depends on what you want it to look like. That's probably number 50 times I've said that. Probably the 50th time. There we go. Oh, yes. Look at this whole little ridge working its way down towards us over here. Right, coming down like that. Ooh, even that looks neat right there, guys. And all of a sudden, we got this whole little mountain, little bit of snowy something or other, right? That we can highlight. We can do all sorts of things with. All sorts of things with. Now, let's go back. We're going to make up our shadows again. So we're going to take a bit of white again. A little bit more blue this time than we did last time. So it's going to be a darker mix of blue, right? A darker color. That's more of the color of our sky up there, right? Just like that. And we're going to take some of that darkness. And we're going to mix in that darkness. And it's going to make our light blue color this sort of kind of bluish, grayish color. Just like that, right? Gorgeous thing. Then we're going to take our lot more white than we did with our blue. Get a bit of that blue color. We're going to mix this guy up over here to create our snowy white highlights, right? Just like that. Mix it up, scrape it up, get all those blue streaks out of there so you have this very bright, 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 bright blue color. Super bright blue. Looks white, right? Compared to its blue counterpart. But we know that there is blue in there. I just showed you. I showed you. Now we're going to wipe off the knife. Let's say all of our light's coming from this side, so we'll go to our shadowy side, and all of a sudden I can see there's just a little bit of blue shadowy bits back behind the edge of that mountain, maybe feeding back that way. Then we'd pick up some light, but maybe off the back of this side. Might be a little dark over there, right? All depends. It's got a little ridge growing. Little kukulkan, little S-shaped ridge going over here. Very neat. All depends on what we want it to look like. Remember, you can always go back in and add a bit of that original dark color right over the top. Scrape it out, pull it out. Oh yeah, right in there. I think I just stuck. I did. I just stuck my whole handle inside the crimson blob right there. Let's see if I can get any of it to deposit back off. Aha! What a mess. What a mess. All right, hang on now, guys. I'm sorry. At least I didn't drop it on the floor like we did with the brush yesterday. Were you here yesterday? Or not yesterday, but the other day? On Tuesday, I was doing the seascape show, and I'm showing you this technique on how to, like, flick your thing like this. And the brush flew out of my hand with paint on it, went down and hit the floor. I was like, oh no. Okay, there we go. I think we're clear and ready. I probably just got paint on my nose. Probably. It's fine. Who cares? It's fine. Now, go back to our little shadowy area. Maybe back in here there was a little bit more. Maybe it wrapped its way around. Who knows? We can decide when we get there. You could even take some of that blue and stick it down underneath here. Right, just like that. Bingo bango. Put a little of our dark color just a little. That's a bit too much, but the more that you work at it, the more it'll blend itself down, right? Scrape it up. There we go. That's a little better. That's a little better. Now we'll come back in here with our white, and we'll decide maybe we want to come back very lightly. We get to choose where the light is hitting on the mountain, where it's going down, where it's touching, where it's heavy, where it's light. Maybe it comes down over here. Right? Can you see it in your brain? Because I can start to see it. Very cool. Very light. So we slide off the edge, different things, light pressure, just allowing the paint to grab and fall off, right? Whatever you scrape up, you have your little knife, you got your little roll of paint out there, and then you turn it towards the canvas, and then whatever falls off or gets pulled away as you're pushing, and it depends on the size of your little roll, right? Do you want to have a lot of roll? Well, you better practice like Paint with Josh, and to be able to have a lot of roll and deposit it all in one go like that, right? Versus when you very first start, you may have a big old chunk up at the top that you don't like just because you had too much on the brush, right? Or on the knife anyway. There we go. Like this whole thing is so thick up here, we can literally come back and scrape up a whole more chunk. Watch this. Put all the rest of that down there. It's literally so thick up top. Very cool, right? Then all you got to do is go back over it very lightly, remembering to leave our little dark areas and light areas, just like that. Feed it down into its little valley. Take this guy, feed it back the other way. You decide. Very cool. I like that a lot. Okay, now let's come in with our brush again and do the same thing, right? So we're going to come from the edge, very soft. You don't have to go all the way to the top, but you do want to go in the same angle, or the reverse angle anyway, of the way that you went down. So if you went down like this with your knife, you go up like that with your brush. If you went over to the side with your knife, you go from the side with your brush. All dependent on you, right? However you did it. So if you go from this side with your knife, or you came down this way, right? You're going to go back up this way with your brush. Same thing here. We went down, so let's go up. And let's rotate, and let's turn, and let's push on the paint just a little bit, just to get it to soften its way down, right? Same thing off the back. Very, very lightly. Otherwise, you'll move. All that thick paint will and just be gross. So, remember guys, we're giving away a free hat. You get to name this painting. This painting's available for sale, and I think I have a backpack I want to show you to give away too. I'm not going to give it away tonight, but in the future. So, all that talking, we're almost done. Start coming up with a name for this painting, and we're going to go through, get all the shirts and the hats and show you. I got a brand new hoodie too. Oh, it's a brand new hoodie. And this one's Bailey's shirt, but your girlfriend watches my dad on TikTok. But I stole it from her to paint in. So, we're going to take our 2-inch brush like that. We've come back in, right? Now we need to start tapping. But we tap and we start to push it out in that same direction that we were going down with our knife, right? Doesn't have to be from the same height each time. So we've moved over here, then we move back a little bit. Maybe on this guy, we move over here. And we just go down. And all we're doing is tapping in a bit of mist, a bit of wonder, right? It's mystery. What's happening? What's going on underneath there? Nobody knows. You can't see it, right? Let's come down in here. Now look. You don't want it to be a very straight across line like that. At least I don't. So when I do mine, I tend to come up a little bit more, and then we'll go down. Maybe we'll come down here into the corner like that. Right? And that way it's not all this whole big straight off thing, right? Just like that. Now you can take our mist, you can mix it up, you can do all sorts of stuff, whatever you want, however to make yours look the way that you want it to look. Bingo, bango. Got a really cool little scene coming together. Just a big old monster tree. All right, here we go. So we're gonna need a little bit more black, a little bit more crimson, a little bit more blue onto the brush, into that darker pile that we'd mixed up before. It's the same color, just like that. So you guys let me know if you wanna get, know how to win one for free, get a little hat giveaway. Only takes about 30 seconds. So let me know if you wanna hear it. And if you do, then I'll stop for 30 seconds and tell you how. Twin Peaks, I like that. I like that. And a Sasquatch, yes! Sasquatch. Well, he'd be like a Yeti in this one, right? It's a Heaven's Mountain Pass. I dig that. I dig that. So how do you win? All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go over to my Facebook page. The very first pinned post on my Facebook page is the giveaway announcement, right? Now, you're going to go share that to your page or your favorite art group or whatever. You shared it, and as you can see, we're coming down using more and more and more of the brush, dumping on more and more and more paint as we get further down, right? You want it to be nice and globby, though. You don't want it to be too thin. It won't pick up our highlights, and it won't be dark enough. So you go over to my Facebook page, you share the pinned post. Then you take a screenshot of that to prove that you shared it, and you go back in and you post your screenshot of proof into the comment section of that post. And then once you do that, it'll be you'll be entered to win. And you got to be here tomorrow night as we're doing the drawing, same time as right now. Literally the same time tomorrow, 24-hour notice, right? We're 24 hours away from the giveaway. So if you want to win, go to PaintWithJosh. PaintWithJosh on Facebook. So facebook.com/PaintWithJosh. Get over there, share the post, and then go post your shot or your shared post in the screenshot. Screenshot it, post it in the comments, and that'll get you entered. Now, we've got 3 full pages worth of names of people that have been entered so far that I printed out, all single space, 3 full pages of names. So you better get over there and get yours in if you want to win that hat, because there's going to be a lot of people that are in the hat bucket. So let's see, guys. Now wash off this old brush right here, and then we're going to go back with our highlights, and then we'll be ready. Almost done painting this sucker. So very simple way to win some tickets, to win some entries if you go over to facebook.com/PaintWithJosh, and then you just share the post. All you gotta do, give it a little share, that's it. Or if you buy this painting, you get 5, count them, 5 free entries into the drawing with any painting purchase. So I've already got people like Adam, Christina, who else? So the lady that bought the number 900, the very big one, she's in the drawing for extra tickets because she bought the painting. So anyone that's bought a painting recently does have extra tickets in the thing. Melanie's got extra tickets. She just bought a painting yesterday, so she's got extra tickets in the event. So, like I said, I try to be fair, try to make it easy for you. Yeah, let's skip the whole. I was going to go with brown for the tree trunk, but I love how the color palette of this one already. It seems like maybe we could sneak just a few more little details in. So soft. Way back there, right? We could stick our tree just in front, hide it a little bit. Very soft little things back in there. Just a couple more little bits of detail. Very cool. So let's come in here. Now we need a smaller brush than the one that we attached, right? I use this brush, our size 14 in the GAC Doctor fan brushes. It's just like that. GAC Doctor. I don't know how else you guys would say it. That's how I would say it. GAC Doctor, right? So size 14 to apply the darkness. Now I want to go back and let's use a much smaller, like a size 8. Let's go about half of what the thing was. Now we need to go into our Bob Ross liquid white. Remember in the beginning of the show, I told you about the liquid white and how we placed it all over the canvas to make it nice and slippery and wet, right? Now this paint, when you attach it to our highlights, becomes very wet and slippery, and it comes off of the brush very easily. And so we're going to come up here and just with the right kind of shape, the right amount of pressure, I'm just going to start slapping it against the canvas, kind of staying on top of our branches, not trying to cover everything. And look, it's starting to transfer all the dark color onto the corner of the brush, which makes us need to push harder in order to deposit that color, right? Which always isn't the best thing. So rotate your brush over to that other side. Continue on with your little light taps, right? Not every little thing has to be high lit. Doesn't have to be the same across the entire tree. Nothing has to be the same. Now, the entire brush is basically covered in darkness. We need to go back and wash that off. Otherwise, it's going to continue to dull our highlights down, making mud. That's how you make mud, guys. You just keep smashing and you keep smashing and you keep smashing. You're like, oh, I'll just add more liquid white. I'll add more liquid white. No, that makes mud. Don't do that. Wash your brush off. Go back, get more liquid white, reload it the exact same way that we did before with the titanium white and everything else with the liquid white. Can't be too much of all the same. Come back in here, have your brush at the right angle. Start tapping in little pockets of light, leaving little pockets of dark, right? Not everywhere has to be the same. Not always, anyway. Now we're going to flip it around to this other side. A couple more little bright areas. Just do it about half the tree. Popping over little things, right? You can leave it dark like that if you want to, or you can go in and add a bit of blue shadowing to it. Depends on the darkness of your thing, right? If your dark shadow color has a lot of blue tone to it because you use more blue paint, then leave it. You want to leave it nice and dark like that? Totally up to you. what I want to do is come in with a little bit of liquid white and our dark blue up here and just make it, here we go, a little bit like that. Come down here, just a bit darker with the blue tones. And we need a bit more of our liquid white just to have the right amount. So if this painting sells tonight, guys, I'm ready to go live again and do another small painting. But I have a lot of 16 by 20 inch canvases, and we can do more little small paintings like this tonight. See, I'm crisscrossing, going back and forth between the blue and the black, not leaving all, or not covering up all the dark. You have to have the deepest, darkest spaces back in there. Don't need to cover up everything, but everything can be slightly different little color, and it adds more depth into your painting. Look at that. Just a little bit of blue. So, like I said, I am ready to go live and do some more 16 by 20s. I've got some black canvas ideas I can do. We can do another blue canvas ideas. We can do a sunset. We can do whatever. But the first painting's got to sell before I do that. So, in fact, I really shouldn't go. I was hoping this one would sell during the show, and so I wouldn't have to go live again because I have to teach a class tomorrow, guys. Oh, I forget the lady's name, too. She's on TikTok here. She's got 60,000 followers, and she's going to take a one-on-one class with me tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. So, let's see. And Ember, if Emberlyn is watching, I got your shirt from your, your I painted with Josh shirt from the last class that you took. So, hit me up or come meet me at the mall or whatever, and I'll get you that shirt. We're going to take a bit of white, come over here, slide it out, right? Just like that. Just having it mix in with that dark color as far as you want to go. How far do you want your little thing to happen? Now, look how funky it looks with that straight up right where the brush hits it. All right, so go back the other way. Pull it back. Slide it back up in there like that. You see how it looks much more natural? It kind of feeds it in like that, and there's not a harsh line. And then what do you do with this guy right here? Just back and forth very lightly until it looks how you want it to look. Very cool. Just like that. Now, every so often, too, when we're on white canvas, you can scrape in all sorts of little sticks and twigs and little different things that live at the bottom of the trees and all sorts of stuff. Very cool. Love those little guys. Swipe up at them just very slightly, just to take away the bit at the bottom. And poof, got a very cool little painting, guys. Very neat, if you ask me. So, for 174, I think it's 174.60. This one is number 911. Now, let's come up with a name for the guy while we wipe it off. And then, I'm not sure if I'm going to come back for another class or for another video because I've got to teach that class in the morning. I've already got the one easel over there, so I don't really have to break down the studio, which is good. I just have to get all my paints and everything I need to paint in the bag, right? And if you would believe it, if you don't believe it, believe it. I can get everything I need besides the easel and the canvas itself. Every single thing I need inside the Paint with Josh duffel bag. So if you've never seen the Paint with Josh duffel bag, let me back you guys up on TikTok over here. I can't even see what the screen looks like now. But if you've never seen the Paint with Josh duffel bag, it's a gorgeous duffel bag. You will never lose this duffel bag in baggage claim. It's even got Paint with Josh logo on the bottom, guys. Come on. Come on. Little Louis Vuitton pattern across the whole thing. I love it. I just love this bag. So, okay, let me end the stream real quick. Everybody watching on TikTok, let me just end the tutorial real fast. This is the time when you guys get to see all the bloopers that happened to me. So hopefully there are none, but let's give it a shot and we'll rock and roll. Okay, hang on, we gotta do this. Hang on, just gotta put the brush down. Well, guys, this one came out fantastic. I can't wait to see your version of it. Make sure to send it into facebook.com/paintwithjosh. And until I see you guys, that was perfect. That was perfect. Okay. Well, guys, this one came out fantastic. I can't wait to see your version of it. Send it into facebook.com/paintwithjosh. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. Bye.